Hi, this is Bill Ratner. I'm the voice of Flint on G.I. Joe, and this is Knowing is Half the Podcast, which is actually an appropriation of the original saying, Knowing is Half the Battle, which was used in a number of public service announcements that have now been burlesqued on YouTube by a number of individuals, and I don't think there's a copyright issue at all. Have a good day.
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite G.I. Joe cartoon show. If you're a purist, this is the first one you're listening to, in hindsight.
I am a purist, so I would be that person that's listening to this one and being very confused.
This is perfect, though, because now we've got the groove. We're in the rhythm. We know what's what.
Yeah.
Make this...
You're going to listen to these first five, and then the quality is going to get significantly worse for a while.
And then you're going to hit Pyramid of Darkness and want to kill yourself. In hindsight.
Also, though, we may be a little bit too brutal on these.
Oh, yeah.
First, because
maybe.
we've seen them all.
No, I was way
on board.
I was way more brutal in the early days of this podcast. Like, I was like, I hate everything. I don't know anyone. And then as time went on, I was like, all right.
You get what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say right now, like, just full disclosure. Oh, by the way, this is Knowing is Half the Podcast, and I am Ray Stacanis.
I'm Robert Chan.
I'm Gina Bledo.
And I will say, with total openness here,
none of you stopped me to correct me that I'm in fact Robert Clark Chan.
Well, can we say real quick before I get to my point where you came from and why we're being extra nice to you right now?
Also, spoiler alert,
enough.
I will never correct anyone on their married last name.
Chan, can you take like 90 seconds and explain to the people where you literally just came from before we recorded this?
I'm not sure if he's allowed to.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
It was a
sign an
press
NDA or
event
anything.
for people. I assume they want people to know.
Some of ours are. I didn't
this
sign
one isn't. Okay.
I
Ray.
Didn't know that.
I was on the set of Fear Factor.
Back in 1997.
It's a new version. Actually, it's kind of interesting. They're doing a.
It's a new version. They just sit you in a chair and say Trump is president.
And then Joe Rogan comes out and does drugs with you.
Oh no!
It's ludicrous,
and then beats you up.
And they kind of drained a lot of the machismo out of it, and now
good.
it's more of like a fun thing. Like here's some fun things, and also some kind of foolish. But the idea is you kind of want to laugh, not necessarily be like, oh my god, that's terrifying. So it's kind of neat. But this was one of the food episodes.
I can't handle those ones.
And this isn't something to be aired on television. It's just
well, no, we saw them do the ones going to make on TV.
Okay.
And then we ate the same things that they did.
Okay.
Every time I used to watch Fear Factor, I found it entertaining, and I would always be like, okay, I could do that, I could do that, I could do that. But then when it came time to ingest anything, which our regular listeners will know, I am a human garbage disposal of all foods. That is correct.
Yeah.
Like, I love all foods. But I can't do super, super gross, like, rotted foods or, like, drink a glass of blood or anything like that.
I mean, there are only a couple of those. I'll give you a quick rundown of everything that was on there.
Yeah.
There was lard, and it was a lot of lard.
I couldn't do it.
That's rough. One of those. There's shiokara, which is fermented squid intestines.
No.
See,
which
I
I'm
don't think
pretty
so.
sure
No.
may have been the worst one, and actually the only one that never got eaten the entire day. Which is
so it's the
probably a good
mystery
thing.
one. Nobody really knows if it's the worst. It could have been
that's
delicious.
true. Yeah.
I was close enough to tell you that it was not. There's the 100-year-old egg, which is
No. I've seen those before.
I've seen those in like Chopped. They look terrible.
It's preserved egg. It's salty, and there's like a little bit of a sulfur taste. But
And you're eating history.
You can see. Yeah, you can see why people would eat it, because most of these things are things that people eat elsewhere as a normal thing, not a big deal. There was a cheese, like a really, really stinky cheese. So yeah, whatever.
See, that I could probably do.
There was a cupcake that was just sort of like the fun one. It's
I
just a
couldn't do
cupcake.
that.
It was a normal ass cupcake.
Nope, I'm out.
There were a couple people. There was a woman who was very small, and she just had the hardest time getting down a plain old cupcake.
Oh,
like she was
man.
guzzling
What was she
everything
doing
else,
there?
and then it was just like cupcake. There was a straight up habanero.
I couldn't do that.
Natto, which was the hardest one all day long. It's a fermented soybean, but it's just like people were pulling it. There were no spoons. You had to use your hands. They were pulling it out of the little ramekins, and full arm span, it was still connected, like snot, mucus kind of.
And what is it? It's a fermented soybean.
Yeah.
Why is it doing that?
I mean, basically what it
Beans don't
looked
do
like
that, Chad.
is like people were putting it in their mouths and they were chewing it, and like the thing is like the slime doesn't go away; it just stays.
Oh,
so
boy.
it's just like, trying to choke that down, and it tastes kind of tastes kind of a little bit awful, but like the texture is just like you can't get it, and it just stays. The two that I had to eat myself.
Yes.
The first one is a Norwegian thing that apparently is illegal in the U.S. Like you can't just ship it into the U.S. They had to get it like through eBay or some crazy thing that was like, you know.
Why? Is it endangered shark?
I mean, no, it's herring. It's herring. It's just
Endangered
like,
herring?
It's a fermented herring, so basically it's just like rotten fish.
Yeah.
So like there are probably like health laws. They're like, no, don't put. You're not supposed to put that in your face.
The FDA is very against it.
I believe it's called surströmming. And I tell you what, it's been hours now, and I still am burping up rotten fish intestines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fish is the worst. I don't know if y'all have ever taken omega-3 pills,
No.
like supplements.
It like burps up bad.
Yeah, you like burp up like fish taste.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem worth it.
I mean, it helps your brain, right?
What was the other thing that you ended up having to eat?
Shrimp paste.
Shrimp paste. Okay.
Which on its own, you use it. I think I have some in my cupboard. Like I will use it to.
Well,
to
guys,
cook
we
with.
got 2 ramekins ready for me and Gina.
But it was like
2 pounds of shrimp paste.
It was somewhere between a third and a half of a cup.
Yeah.
It's so salty. It's so salty.
Yeah,
And
see,
it's just-
if you're bringing me like weird Asian chips, I'm going to eat them. Weird candies, I'm going to eat them. But fish or anything like that, anything that like has the that when people describe it, use the word rotten, something like that,
We're
I
already
can't
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
do. I can't do.
Well, guys, let's leap into the episode here. Chan, thank you very much.
Glad to help.
Yeah, that was. This is the first episode of G.I. Joe in its modern sense. G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, The Mass Device. And as I was saying before, we got on the. I took us on a sidetrack. I hated this miniseries when I was a kid and growing up. I always knew it as like the worst part of G.I. Joe.
Wow.
And I really thought it was too focused in on what Duke was doing and what Scarlet was doing when I thought because the idea of G.I. Joe, it's a team of interesting characters.
Yeah.
I didn't like that they were only trying to sell me on 2 characters and have like everything revolve around those 2 characters.
Interesting.
Watching it again now with like extra knowledge and being older and whatnot, I loved it. I flat
will
out
say
love this episode.
I did not like it.
Oh.
It felt like when you go back and watch the pilot episode of a show that you like if you go back and watch the Seinfeld pilot, you're like, oh, this is so not representative of what the show is.
Right.
But the one thing that I did like was that I was like, oh, okay, we get more personality out of Duke and Scarlet. So that was like the specific thing that I did like because, especially in season 1, we were always making fun of them for not having a personality. We preferred Flint and Lady J. But in this one, I was like, oh, they're sassing each other. We're getting a little, like
They're
more
flirty.
personal information. So I liked it. I feel like they drained them of that after this mini series a little bit.
Yeah. And it's weird because we've gone through all since Pyramid of Darkness on up to this point. We haven't done a lot of Generation 1 G.I. Joe kind of exploration, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, literally my first note is, all right, Duke and Scarlet more interesting in this episode.
Like immediately. Like immediately. Well, I mean, I love seeing, can I say right now, I just wrote down the opening credits, totally different than
None of
what
y'all
we're used
asked
to.
me what I thought about this goddamn episode.
Chan,
No one cares.
Yeah, come on.
You're burping up fish guts over there.
You're here to hate
I will
and burp fish
at you.
guts,
I will
Chan.
burp at you, and you will regret it.
Chan, what did you
will
think of this
regret it.
episode?
The one thing that stuck out to me was the animation was surprisingly good.
It was excellent.
And like I
Yeah.
get why the quality degraded as it goes on. Like you're just like doing it, and this they probably had plenty of time.
Doing it.
But this is also like this is where they're trying to sink the hooks into everybody. So they
Right.
put more money behind it. So like everyone is flipping around and doing parkour all the time in this episode,
okay.
and it's fully animated like well.
I feel like
There's that burp again.
Oh boy.
So sorry.
I feel like after this miniseries, G.I. Joe as an organization got their budget cut because
Okay.
in this episode they have so many cool weird toys that I'm like, what? Where did that come from? How is that doing that? And then later on, I feel like the government was like, no, we had to pass a new spending bill, and we like cut G.I. Joe's budget.
You guys are getting too much stuff blown up. So if we give you less stuff, you'll have less stuff to blow up.
Exactly.
Just the opening theme song, though, can I just say immediately, I was like, how much I loved seeing Stalker highlighted all over it. Because you didn't see a lot of people of color in the animation world, especially.
Is Stalker that guy that we never see again?
He has a role in the first and second miniseries, I believe, and then he sort of takes a back seat from that point forward.
I had never seen him before.
Here's the thing: if you brought Stalker to 2017, introduce a character like, "Hey, everybody, here's a new military guy. He's a black dude, and his name is Stalker." And that's going to be a great, he's just, he sneaks around at night, sneaks up on people.
You can change it to Lurker. It might have a little bit of a softer blow.
No,
like watching you from the bushes is his code name.
Exactly.
Well, just call him Richard Ramirez. I think that would be a better name if we're just going for it.
Here's a question.
G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra and Destro.
When did Destro get demoted?
Yeah. He did. That was I had forgotten. I remember that as being an alternate lyric to the song, and then when he said it here, I'm like, that's where it was. It's because I think Destro was supposed to be on par with Cobra, and they were supposed to be like two different kind of organizations coming together.
I like the demotion. I mean, here's the thing. I like Destro, and I wanted him to stay higher up, but from as a kid, this is confusing standpoint.
Yes.
You only need you need to know one thing that they're fighting. Once you throw in a second thing, you're like, wait, and now these guys are arguing. I don't know whose side I'm on.
Well, I will say that it is fun. Yeah, I think that demoting him does make the show better because then you have Destro, who's kind of doing his own thing, and you get the sense that he could just peace out any old time and still be fine.
And he does frequently.
Yeah. And you have extensive enterprises. You got Tomax and Zaymot that come in and do the same things. Like, yeah, we'll work with you for a while. If you piss us off, if you're a dummy like Cobra Commander frequently is, bye, we're gone.
You understand we're rich, right? And really don't have to do this.
Baroness is the same way. She contributes a whole heck of a lot to Cobra, more so than Cobra gives to her. So she'd bounce whenever she wants.
Yeah, I feel like it's when you have this lyric is like when you have a friend that you've known for a while and they start dating someone, you're like, this isn't going to last that long. Let's invite them to our wedding, but just put friend plus guest. That's what it is. G.I. Joe against Cobra and Destro. Then they're like, oh. But then there's also Tomax and Zaymot. Yeah, Cobra Commander goes through a lot of significant others. Let's just put...
It's G.I. Joe against Cobra and +1. Fighting to save the day. Don't let them near the canapes.
They better sure as hell bring double gifts.
I just can't wait to meet the rebound at the wedding. That's all. It's just such an exciting thing. So, guys, this is an important question. This is something I had forgotten was a thing. Snake Eyes, no gloves.
What?
Snake Eyes has no gloves.
What are you talking about? I was about to say Snake Eyes with them weird-ass goggles.
Snake Eyes is a totally different character. We were on the same page.
Yeah.
But
I didn't notice.
He's got a weird ski mask with goggles looking outfit with no gloves, and it's just the real Snake Eyes kind of Ninja Warrior all black outfit is a million times better than character design, cool character design. You need to look better.
This is lazy steampunk ninja is what it is.
It really is.
I bet at some point he was leaving his fingerprints all over the place, and people were like, you know what? Stop. Can you stop? They know exactly who you are now. They have your fingerprints. At least wear gloves if you're going to be a weird ninja person.
This is like poor kid cosplay of Snake Eyes.
Yeah. No, poor kid cosplay would be them getting
bag,
a purple
basically.
Marker and then purple markering his hands. Maybe that's what he does in the rest of the series.
Oh my God, I hope
Maybe
not.
it's not gloves. Maybe this whole time we thought it was gloves, but it's purple Sharpie.
To be fair, there's a lot of times when characters are wearing gloves and they clearly have fingernails. Now that I think about it, this holds up.
You guys, I would swear that this scene where a Sky Striker buzzes the people that are on the landing field and then it lands and it turns out to be Scarlet, I would swear that they reuse that scene in another episode.
I don't remember
on.
them ever using that gag
I think
again.
you're thinking of the movie Hot Shots.
Oh, excellent.
I hated Hot Shots.
What about Hot Shots Part 2?
I saw Hot Shots 1 once, and that was basically the end of my...
I love Hot Shots.
Yeah, me too.
The Zuckers and Abrahams created essentially a genre.
Yeah.
A genre of comedy from Airplane down through Naked Gun.
Naked Gun's the best.
The hot, there was Top Secret.
Top Secret is my favorite. That's
Hot
the ninja
Shots
of that crew.
Was the first that was just a significant drop in quality.
Really?
And no movie in that genre ever got better.
Oh, disagree.
I don't agree with that at all.
This is the genre that eventually became Scary Movie.
You are not wrong
I
about
still
that.
like Scary
Date
Movie.
I like the first Scary Movie.
I
All of
like
those,
Scary Movie.
You people don't understand comedy.
Oh, you hate.
But we can all agree
you hate
that,
the
like,
Wayanses, don't you?
That like epic movie was like great, right? We can all get on
yeah.
board with that one. There's jokes in
I
it.
will burp. I will burp at you.
I think all those movies just needed more
Comedy?
known murderer O.J. Simpson in them.
Yeah, it's hard to
That
watch the
would've
Naked
been-
Gun movies now
Because of OJ?
Of OJ, yeah.
Yeah, try watching The Cosby Show, man.
Oh, yeah, because OJ was terrible on that too. And for no
that
other
was-
reason.
That was Bill Cosby.
Oh.
That was Bill Cosby. It's two different dudes.
Oh.
Imagine picture pages now. It's just.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
It's time to get your crayons and your roofies.
Ooh. Zing.
I wonder if he put Mortimer Ichabod Marker up there while they were unconscious.
Yeah. Well, this has ruined everything for me forever.
But how exciting is it that it turns out to be Lady Scarlet who's the one flying the jet,
Yeah.
empowering women in 1983?
I feel like after this episode, boys were like, barf. Show us fewer ladies, and then they
But
were like,
also,
okay.
there's something in my pants that is moving. I do not understand it.
Like-
but I want more.
There was not a ton of diversity in animation in this time period. So the notion that you've got a couple of like black dudes like featured prominently,
A couple?
Well, you've
Who's
got
the second?
Destro.
I mean,
Destro's not a black dude. In the movie, he was a white man.
Well, that is incorrect.
That was Christopher Eccleston.
But you've also got Roadblock, who I think it might appear later in this series. He might not come till Weather Dominator, but
I feel like you're the guy that when people are like, oh, this place isn't diverse enough, you're like, what are you talking about? We've got Steve. We've got the other guy. See?
wait a minute. There's a janitor, right? There's a janitor that's a black dude.
we're going from like we're going from He-Man, where you've got like all dudes, muscular, beating on each other, to the point where if there was going to be a woman interjected, it had to have her own show that nobody was watching.
But here's the thing. We've seen Destro's ancestral home, and that it is white people in a white land.
Destro is
Destro is
100%
not
a person
black.
of color.
That's what they said about Darth Vader.
He was, again, a
was
person of
black
color.
Irish.
Thank you. I don't know what you're not getting about this, Gina. But also, but Scarlet being like a top member of the Joe team, and then, like I say, Stalker being featured so predominantly, in the preview, and he's just all over the episode as well. I think that's
It
great
was
because
confusing to me.
it wasn't done. It's not hardly done now, much less in this era.
But they did still give us one uptight bitch who you're like, ugh, ladies ruin everything. Am I right?
well, absolutely.
Although she does turn out later to be the Baroness.
Oh yeah.
But like when she came on the scene, I was like, oh, this lady's not cool.
Well, that's getting
come on.
buzzkill.
Okay, here's the thing. No, Gina. If we had started this show with this episode, you had the right to do that. You knew the second she showed up that was the Baroness.
And I would
There's
think
no
you'd be
question.
excited after spending all of season 2 whining that the Baroness didn't take enough roles.
Oh yeah, I was excited to see her. I actually spent half the episode being like, "Is this going to turn out to be Zartan?" Because that's weird.
No, the dumpy old ladies are always Baroness.
Yeah, but I didn't know if early on.
I don't know if Zartan's even going to be in this series. I don't
doesn't
think
show up till later.
I don't think he shows up to. He's definitely in Weather Dominator. Like they're a huge story point of that. I remember that vividly. There's the hockey scene we'll get to.
You know what amused me is that you actually posted or retweeted a picture on the Twitter. It was a poster for the VHS of this next series. What was it, Cobra's Revenge or
Something
such
like
business?
that. Revenge of Cobra sounds right.
But for the VHS tape that had the 5 episodes on there, it was $39.95, and like I can't imagine in $1995
Oh.
like having that much money to buy it, or even today, like what that would cost.
That's a good point.
That DVD
It's for
that
the
would be
whole
like,
season.
no, for the 5-episode
Oh
arc.
yeah, no way.
But my understanding though is that was probably sold to video stores who would then rent it out.
Well, no, that was a poster to go in a video store. Like if you want to buy it, you can have this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And in today's money, that's like $100, right? At least.
Probably. I mean, what are we talking? $1985?
$1984, which would be when that came out. So 1985, maybe, if you were like, it was in video the next year. But we're jumping ahead a little bit by talking about Juanita Hooper. Because we have this big scene where Destro shows up at the Cobra Temple, and already I'm like on board because Destro makes fun of the fact that all the people who are carrying this stuff.
$93.78, by the way, $93.78.
Oh.
Destro makes fun of the fact that he scares away all the people bringing all the stuff up to the Cobra Temple.
It's pretty great.
And then he makes fun of Cobra Commander for having a Cobra Temple. And this is like right away in the episode.
When did Cobra Commander stop talking like a snake? When they realized that it was like super annoying?
I mean, this kind of gets to be a pain in the ass.
And he only did it in this like 3 times. But I was like, oh, that's one of those things where they thought this would be cool. And then someone's like, ugh, God. It's already getting on my nerves, and we're only 22 minutes into this series.
But he keeps it up. Like, he still does the S thing. He doesn't do it for every S.
No, like, he does it to, like, as a bit, I feel like, in the future to accentuate things. This seems like it's like, oh, this is just how this dude talks. Because he does it for every S sound in this episode.
Yes. I think, well, they're trying to hammer home who these people are. Like, this is literally the pilot. So we're introduced.
Look, his name is... All we have to go on is that his name is Cobra Commander. To really hammer home that he is the leader of an organization named after a snake, if you don't have the S, what do you have?
Thank you.
Nothing.
If he's not hissing, he's not a snake.
He doesn't have like a big snake on his chest.
Well, he does.
He doesn't have,
he's got the Cobra symbol right there.
All right. I don't know what you're trying to do here, make me look like an asshole or something, but...
It's not like any of the Cobra team wears snakes on their... Oh, wait. They literally all wear snakes.
All the G.I. Joe should have like just a guy drinking a cup of coffee. It's like, yeah, this is Joe. This is G.I. Joe.
Average Joe, get it?
Joe.
He makes minimum wage. He eats average food. His average height. His penis is around 5.5 inches long.
Oh, that's average?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, no, of course I knew. Of course it is. Let's talk about the mass device and what it is, because we get introduced to it here, and the mass device is a device
that forces people to go to mass on Sundays.
That forces you into church. So Joel Osteen is buying it.
Exotic substances.
Could you imagine if it was like a teleportation device that forced you to go to church every Sunday?
That would be the worst. That teleportation device is called a Catholic mom.
Oh no! Well, it's powered by 3 rare elements. They make it very clear. So this is how we're going to get through this entire miniseries.
I assume they're lightsaber crystals.
Yes, we have red crystals that are electrified. Mm-hmm. We have blue water that's also electrified,
and
we have
horseshoes.
Yellow dirt,
the most delicious marshmallows
that's
of all.
Also electrified, and red balloons.
Red balloons were added later, Ray.
Yes, they were.
So were purple horseshoes.
What?
That's right. Purple horseshoes were added. Yes,
I remember.
Pink
the
hearts,
horse,
shamrocks.
Yellow moons, blue stars,
and purple.
Purple horseshoes were added at the end.
So it was only the 4 originally,
and because it was like a big deal.
Yeah,
to me as a kid, what's this new thing going to be?
They didn't have the technology.
They added rainbows and red balloons later.
Yeah, and
I feel like something else is in there too, but maybe not.
Kids today, it's all marshmallows. Back in my day, there was one marshmallow.
Yep.
No way. They have fewer marshmallows in them now than they used to. They just have more kinds of marshmallows. I'm on to you, Lucky Charms Company. You think that if you give us more variety, we won't notice that you upped the cereal to marshmallow ratio.
Gina does not care for diversity.
Can I tell you now?
She wants a writer's room with just one kind of person in it.
Yeah.
And more of them. She just wants more white people in television.
Give me what are the cereal bits? If the marshmallows are white or one kind of marshmallow, what are the cereal bits? Chairs?
The cereal bits are the backs of the employees you're standing
I feel
on.
like they're chairs.
When I was a kid, I was allowed to eat any cereals I wanted. My mom would be like very clear, except anything that had a marshmallow in it. So
really? You can have Fruity Pebbles, but not a marshmallow?
Fruity Pebbles, Fruit Loops is my favorite.
Okay, here's the thing. Your mom is not doing her research because sugar-wise, I guarantee you they were around the same.
In the mid-'80s, no parents did any research. That's how we ended up people like me.
No, my parents did. The only ice cream we were allowed to eat when I was a kid was Breyers because it had the fewest ingredients.
Oh, see, that's something that was not well done in the Midwest.
I mean,
at least.
if we're gonna play the one-up game, my mother made me eat carob. Not chocolate.
Good.
Carob.
Good for your mom.
No, you can't get carob anymore because they recognize that it's a war crime to feed it to children.
I would think you'd have been better prepared for Fear Factor with that kind of upbringing.
I put that shrimp paste down, son.
But also, there's a midpoint. My mom would be like, all right, you can have a glass of juice for dinner once you finish my milk. But she was smart because she knew that I was a tiny child, and by the time I finished my milk, my meal would be over, and I wouldn't want juice.
Smart.
So she played head games with you.
No, it never even occurred to me that, like, I was like, well, I'm done. And then I had forgotten all about juice. But, like, when she told it to me, I was like, yeah, I'm totally going to get that juice.
Well, moving forward, this is where we get introduced to Juanita Hooper or Cooper. I couldn't figure out if it was Hooper.
With Juanita.
Thank you.
Juanita Hooper from the office of...
Hooper, okay.
Juanita Hooper.
I wrote Hooper, and then like halfway through I was like, are they saying Cooper? Oh, crap.
Are you thinking of Hanging with Mr. Cooper?
Yeah, that was why I said
what Gina
Juanita
was going
Cooper.
for.
That's why I was
with
saying
Mr.
hanging with Juanita.
Like Mark Curry was a fine stand-up who deserved every ounce of success that he had.
Are we talking about Steph Curry?
He also was a fine success.
Are we talking about
the
Japanese
food?
curry?
Yeah.
We were just having a discussion about Chip Buddy sandwiches earlier today, which are an abomination.
Oh, cream chip beef? Is that what those are?
No. Chip Buddy is a sandwich, bread, butter, French fries. That's the sandwich.
I'd eat that.
Yeah, I would eat it, but
not
it's
a
not
sandwich.
a sandwich.
It's not a sandwich.
I'd eat it.
No, it's a bunch of sides stacked up on top of each other. That's
I don't
no
know
good.
if you've ever, like, there are places where they, like Fat Sal's, where they do wraps that are filled with mozzarella sticks, French fries, chicken tenders, and then a little bit of lettuce and tomato.
But at least there's chicken in there. There's no protein in a Chip Buddy. That's not a sandwich.
But it's still
How are
like...
you going to make that a meal?
I mean, anything between two slices of bread is a
If
sandwich,
you're-
right, Chan?
no.
A loaf of bread is literally just a bread sandwich.
If you're basing it on lack of protein, then you're saying any veggie sandwich, any grilled cheese sandwich, those all don't have protein.
I'm considering like cheese. If you have a significant amount of cheese, to be basically a protein.
Cheese has protein.
Cheese does have
I mean, everything. French fries have protein. Everything has protein.
Yeah, but that's more of a
I don't know
starch,
about
though.
that.
Yeah, but like you can't call a cheese a protein.
Well, I think we can all agree a Choco Taco is definitely a sandwich.
Here's the thing:
Right?
I don't like cheese sandwiches, but we live in a world where that's sort of a thing.
What about
so-
Nutella and jelly sandwich?
Or peanut butter and jelly for the people who aren't weird.
Yeah, peanut butter and jelly makes sense. Nutella and jelly is what is wrong with you.
Oh, Nutella and jelly is delicious.
That's-
What?
I
No.
like Nutella all right, but not like that.
That's
not
diabetes.
like that.
Peanut butter and Nutella.
Okay, that's all right then.
But
fine.
I'm just saying there are plenty of sandwiches that don't have proteins. Veggie
peanut butter
sandwiches
is
don't
very
have
much
protein.
a protein. There's a lot
I'm
of
not
protein
no,
in
but not
peanut butter.
Nutella.
I don't
A
find
veggie sandwich is not protein.
I don't find a veggie sandwich without, say, hummus or tofu to be satisfying.
Oh,
So while
disagree.
it may fill a dictionary definition, maybe I don't care for them.
Guys, this is a conversation that literally could have 5 of its own podcasts about it. So I'm going to just go ahead and move forward at this point.
Psycho Andy, what do you think?
Guys at home, let Chan know what's a sandwich.
This is literally one of the longest threads ever on my Facebook page.
I know I don't want to go there.
It, and it's magnificent.
You have a thread going about what is sandwiches?
Oh, it's like
Have you not
It's like
seen it?
100
No.
deep. It's ridiculous.
I'm too busy
It is
now.
beautiful.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe.
Leo Joe sees Cobra's new weapon, Hiss. Destro's a genius. Hiss is unbeatable. Surprise attack. Call in the Wolverine. Go get him, cover girl.
G.I. Joe. American hero.
So long, Wolverine. Hurry, Clutch. Wolverine's in trouble. Destro, look. Hiss is ready.
G.I. Joe, Wolverine, and Cobra's Hiss, each with figure, other figures, and equipment sold separately from Hasbro. Now, back to G.I. Joe.
Anyway, moving forward, General Flagg has a plan that he wants G.I. Joe to invade the base. Okay, I need help with this plan. A lot.
Oh,
I
it
need a
makes
lot of
perfect
help with this
sense.
plan.
White hat hackers.
I know, I get that, because they get in there and then they could do damage and they choose not to. He has 3 people, in this case, Snake Eyes, Scarlet, and Stalker, use 3 different methods to infiltrate the place, prove that they could get in and rip stuff up, and he goes, cool, our defenses are great.
No, he makes a very clear point. He's like, okay, you guys got in, first of all, with a lot of fucking difficulty.
Right.
And then second of all, only 3 of you got in. You would need like 80 people to get in. And any of their methods was not possible to like get, like you can't do what each one of them did with 12 other people.
You can't, but why was he asking them to do that in the first place if it really wouldn't have mattered if they succeeded or not?
Because maybe he was like, oh, what if they get in just by like unlocking the back door and opening it for all their buddies? Like he was trying to say, like, are there any glaring things that would allow 20 people to get in here? Like maybe they blasted a hole in the side of the wall.
You guys. I just burped fish guts into my nose, and it was the worst thing.
Yeah, you were making a face over there. I didn't want to say anything.
You should stuff some ginger beer up your nose.
I drank this entire ginger beer, and you know what it did? Made me burp more.
That's good. That's what
it made me burp
beer
more.
Is supposed to
how
do.
You get it out.
It's burping. It's burping the fish remains.
That's how you get it out. You don't want to sit in there and then go to sleep tonight and have some
feel the healing.
I want it to go all the way through.
Feel the healing dribbling out your butt
all the way through. It keeps coming up, and I want it to go down.
That's not how things work.
That is what? That is exactly
your
how
body's
things
trying to
work.
reject it in burp form.
Anyway, guys. So they're protecting this satellite, and that's the big thing that we're allowed to see. And Baroness or Juanita Hooper, like, she puts a little homing device on the satellite, which is like, is this like just a big surveillance satellite? Is that what I'm getting out of it?
No, it is.
I was a little unclear.
Energy transference satellite.
What's that do?
Matter transferer.
No, that's what the mass device does.
That's what the mass
isn't that
device
what we're
does.
talking about?
No, we're talking about what the satellite they're trying to protect does.
Here's the thing.
Oh.
If Cobra had a big old laser and they were trying to shoot the other side, shoot someone in China or whatever, you can't just like shoot the laser straight ahead. So this, you shoot it up to the satellite redirects energy, boom, pops it right back down.
Okay.
They have a mass device which allows them to teleport things, turn something into pure energy and teleport it somewhere. So they need this relay satellite to basically be able to cover the entire world.
Why do we want that relay satellite, I guess?
For something.
Reasons.
They said that there's a bunch of stuff you can do, like, for example, lasers. And
shooting down Russian missiles.
Stalker
Yeah,
gets real
I was going to
creepy
say the U.S. military wants anything. This is how 99% of like superhero movies or anything like this. It's like, ooh, we can weaponize your blood. We want that. Yeah. Why?
Once it's in orbit, there'll be no safe hiding place.
There'll be no safe hiding place.
That's why I thought it was a surveillance or something like that. You know?
No,
okay.
He means
blowing up fools from a distance.
Yes.
Okay.
So when all the Cobras come in, does anyone else notice that their gun bullets are now gray?
All caps
instead of blue?
No.
All caps. I wrote.
Really?
I did notice.
You hear the pew-pews, but you also hear machine gun noises. Oh. They're shooting bullets in addition to the lasers.
Well, I was looking for, usually the gunfights are the Joes have red laser beams from shooting from their gun.
Uh-huh.
Cobra has blue
Cobras
lasers.
have blue, but this time the Cobra ones were gray.
See, I watched this episode twice before we recorded, and I didn't notice that even a little bit.
I think maybe someone was like, oh, it looks like they're just shooting jizz out of their guns at everyone. Look, can we make that a different color?
Let's go with white.
Wow.
Oh,
wow.
wait.
Gina probably watches Platoon and is like, oh, are the VC shooting jizz at the American soldiers?
I just assume everyone's always shooting jizz.
I don't know what a bullet is.
So the mass device is ready, and so they did. Cobra's big thing. They can't teleport the satellite in. That was their original plan.
Yep, it was too big.
And it was too big. It was overheating.
Right, yeah.
And so they say, you know what? We're just going to teleport our guys into the satellite.
Which is exactly what General Flagg was worried about.
Yes. It's the one to show, like, hey, this thing's coming together. That's why I liked it.
Yeah.
And so Cobra comes in. They start wailing on everybody. It's a really kind of cool thing that happens because the Hiss tanks suck. They're getting blown up by like pistol shots and stuff. Like they're giant. So the Cobra, remember we have many jokes as the thing goes on about Cobra weaponry being garbage. We see lots of evidence of it here as they have way more resources than the Joes and the military around them, and they get their asses handed to them and have to hide behind the satellite, which the Joes keep shooting at. I'd like to point out as well.
Here's the thing. Here's what I love about Cobra, which I just realized. When I play Civilization, I always go for the science victory. It's my favorite kind of victory. I want to get to Alpha Centauri, baby. And you know what? What I skimp on, because I do try and keep the population happy.
You skip on mass devices?
I skimp on military.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And Cobra is just that. They're like, let's come up with crazy new devices. Because the thing is, it turns out that the military wasn't really necessary. It just kind of sort of held things off until they got the mass device working. Cool. Pew! We disappear the whole satellite. It's that science victory at work.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. I guess.
So you're saying that we should spend more money on science and less money on
military?
Military.
Yes.
Because we could use the science to make a more killy military and thusly make it more efficient.
If I was president, I would be like, let's just get rid of the military. If someone's going to invade us, they're going to invade us, I guess, at this point.
Vote Gina Ippolito 2020.
Yeah, but then we would have such amazing science.
And food.
And arts.
I don't want I don't want 100 like M1A1 Sherman tanks. I want one mega awesome laser tank that's going to take out 100 Russian tanks.
I'm with you though. I don't need a military when I have Voltron.
Yeah, I'm going to spend my time making a Dr. Manhattan so that weapons become obsolete.
You just want to look at that big blue ding dong.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? Am I right?
I'm going to outlaw clothes as my first order of business as president.
The nude bomb.
So I can't believe Cobra didn't come up with a nude bomb. To be fair,
Right?
I bet that was a rejected idea. For season
like,
2.
No, Don Adams just threatened to sue us. We got to lay off.
Cobra gets the device online. And they just poofed him out. Now, how come they had to send the guys? Couldn't they have just like gotten it better and then poofed it out anyway? Moving on.
I think it was a distraction, and plus they were like, well, if we can kill some of them, good.
I just think we want to see how cool this device is, and we just want another battle scene.
But also,
maybe I'm wrong.
What a dummy, dumb Duke is.
Yeah, he grabs Baroness as they're being teleported away.
Which, by the way, there's like 80 dudes around her. What was he gonna do? Like he was like, no, wait, Baroness and 80 other guys.
Well, no, I mean the thing is,
he might not have known they were going to teleport away per se.
There's that. Even
if he didn't think that, what was he gonna do?
Well, I mean the thing is that he gets captured, yes, but eventually they are going to come in and save him. He's going to figure out a way to signal the Joes where the secret Cobra temple is.
This was not his plan. This was not his plan, though.
Gina, how many times has Joe been captured in this show that eventually figures a way out to signal the Joes where
if he had said at the beginning of the episode, like, hey, listen, anytime you have an opportunity to get captured, take it.
But here's the deal. They're establishing Duke's character right now. He's the All-American quarterback of the team. He's sassy. He's dating Scarlett. He's a superhero. I mean, they've basically shown us every which way. And so when the guys are running away, he's the guy jumping on the helicopter and flying away on the thing. And that's all this is.
That would be cool, but this was literally just him reaching out his arm. Like if he had done like a flying kick towards the group of guys, and then got sucked up, I would have been like, cool. But he was literally just like tap on her shoulder, like, hey, where are you going?
No, what he did
something way more rapey than that.
He got his arms right around her because who wouldn't want to?
Yeah, I don't blame him either. He's overcome by the moment.
So yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible that he wasn't thinking like, I will track down the Cobras to the best. It's like, I got to grab me some titties.
Well, this might be the last time to grab a handful of titty.
It's like, okay, when I was in high school, I opened up a drawer in my kitchen and one of the Joe's giant phone books fell out of it. So I instinctively reached out to grab the phone book, putting it on the counter, and had the point of the giant phone book bang me right in the center of my hand and injure me. That's all Duke did right there. It's a reflex action. You're not thinking about it in the moment.
Yeah, but your
reaches
argument,
out, grabs Baroness.
Your argument was like, he's a great soldier. He's an American. But now you're just saying he's just as stupid as 10-year-old Ray.
He's impetuous as well, and he might also be as stupid as 10-year-old Ray. Well, he gets over to the Cobra base, and he starts cleaning house on everybody. I mean, you want to talk about, again, a good like set of action, like he's grabbing people, like animated pretty well, all things considered.
Until the dreaded karate chop.
First experience in G.I. Joe with the karate chop. He's being grabbed by like 5 or 6 Cobras. Guy comes from behind, established, boom, you're out. We also have the satellite launch. Cobra launches it into space now because that's a thing they can do like immediately, apparently.
From indoors.
Yeah, from indoors.
Like
Don't worry about that. Yeah. And then Cobra Commander says, I want Duke alive. And I'm like, well, why?
Slave pens.
I mean, you have slaves.
No, you want to watch them
Conan
fight.
Dudes.
This is what I would do if I captured my enemies. I would absolutely make them fight. You want them to entertain. You want them to A, entertain you, but B, like see their own demise coming.
Okay. You want to demoralize them?
Yeah, like you don't just want to be like, oh, look, that Joe came along. Boom. You want to be like, hey, first I'm going to make you fight for me, then I'm going to turn you into a slave, then I'm going to kill you.
So this is the thing ISIS is missing, is their flair for the dramatic.
No, they are doing that because otherwise they would just go in and like murder people. But no, they're like, all right, get over there. We get the lighting right. Okay, let's set up. Make the sound speed.
I'm just saying, if ISIS started televising fighting pits with their prisoners fighting legit monsters, I think that they get more sympathy in the West. Am I wrong?
Oh man, I would be a ISIS turncoat in a hot thing. Ooh, yeah.
I mean, look, bum fights is a thing. Why would that not be a thing that people get behind?
Yeah,
people are terrible and on the internet 24/7. They would watch.
Mm-hmm.
If they found a way to clone like a giant Native American, like Cobra Commander clearly did.
Is he Native American?
Dude, that guy was a Native American.
I'll be honest.
Oh, no way. The guy at the end?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I saw him as
like
Conan.
I was thinking like some sort of Grecian,
formula?
or barbarian.
Yeah.
Greek or barbarian?
But they also had him dressed like He-Man, too, and I don't think that was an accident.
Like
I really
Conan
don't.
the Barbarian.
I felt he was Conan.
Yeah.
Yes. I felt like he was a giant Conan dressed like He-Man,
He
and
had
that
a
was kind of a
ponytail.
little aside. And I'll read into this.
In the 80s, every strong dude had a ponytail. They weren't
Thank you.
all Native Americans.
Yeah,
What?
nobody
Not-
shaved their head in the 80s, Chan.
No, not long black hair like that. That is
It's beautiful.
80s.
First off, I'm
That is
jealous.
80s for Native American.
No, haven't you ever seen? I'm trying to think of
Apache
like one
Chief.
where they weren't. Ones where they weren't. I feel like Beastmaster had brown hair, right?
No, black hair. This dude had black hair.
Cartoon black though. Like Baroness has cartoon black hair. She's not Native American.
What? No.
Guys, spoiler alert, Baroness is Native American.
She has very light skin. This dude
also
had
true.
tan skin.
Well,
long
we're getting
black
ahead
hair.
of ourselves here. Let's talk about Vandermeer. Vandermeer, the physicist, the guy living on a farm in Maine, apparently.
I feel like you could watch this episode and know everything about the series, which is like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So there's going to be a kidnapped scientist.
Yep.
There's going to be some sort of huge machine that was created by a good scientist, but then corrupted for evil. And then at some point, Duke is going to be knocked out.
He's going to be knocked out
Like
and
that is like the
captured.
formula. I feel like when they sat the writers down to be like, write these, vary these elements up slightly for every single episode.
It's a lot like Mexican food. As the bit goes, it's just meat, cheese, and a tortilla, as Jim Gaffigan says. And it's all just variations on that theme.
I guess that's true.
That's what we do with the G.I. Joe episode.
I guess that's true.
So, yeah, but we have the thing. So we find out Vandermeer. The Eiffel Tower gets taken away because why not? I don't see him as Native. He looks like He-Man.
That is a Native American right
He looks
there.
like a giant
That is
He-Man.
Look at the color of that skin.
I
Look at that hair.
guarantee you that is not a Native
That is
American.
Native American.
No,
I'll do some
That is-
research and I'll come back for the Know Your Joe.
That is a
about this
9 foot tall Native American.
big,
no, false.
Do we have any thoughts on the Eiffel Tower just disappearing, or it's just like it's a thing that supervillains do?
I'm fine with
They
it.
take the Eiffel Tower and like
Yeah.
everything ever.
That's normal.
I'm fine with
It's
it.
normal. It's like stage one of any megalomaniac plan. Take the Eiffel Tower because I can.
Oh man, the first thing I would do if that happened would be I would take a photo next to the non-existent Eiffel Tower, like where it used to be. Like I'd be like, look, it's me at the Eiffel Tower. I'd just be like pointing at the empty space. And then once it came back, I would Photoshop it in and be like, guys, there was no Eiffel Tower before. I Photoshopped it in and then I would put them side by side.
This is your best plan ever, Gina. Can I put that out there?
Wait, how is that different from if you went to France right now, took a picture with the Eiffel Tower,
And then Photoshopped it out?
Yes.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Why?
Because people would know. People would be like, oh shit, she got that photo right at that window, at that like 1 day window when those terrorists like
Right in the
stole
sweet
it.
spot.
Oh crap, Gina! You were in France that day.
My favorite part
don't worry
about
about
Cobra
that.
technology is the magic noise.
It sounds like sonar, underwater sonar, like what cartoons thought underwater sonar sounds like.
It just reminds me
No,
of
that was the
yeah.
noise when someone like smacks a magic wand on a thing and turns something into a duck or whatever.
I wanted it to be the machine that goes ping from Monty Python's Meaning of
Oh,
Life.
yeah.
I'm good with that. So Duke, we cut back to Duke in the slave pens. This is how you know Cobra's bad. They got slaves.
Wait, can I just say that when they cut to the scientist and he's like tied up, they didn't gag him. So like what? They didn't. So I was like, why didn't they gag him?
We'll get to that plan in a second.
Oh, I thought, why are we already talking about the scientist? He's
We'll
only
be-
in that one scene.
He's only introduced, and then the next scene
Got
after
it.
Duke and the slaves is where we're going to get into
Okay,
Vandermeer.
okay.
Because Duke has a quote here that just seems strange to me. Chan, if you might be able to pull that up for me.
They seem normal.
No, Duke, they don't seem normal. They are shambling around a pen, wearing no shoes, and have metallic metal devices on their heads that are keeping them all Prozac'd up.
He just means like they're not pig people or something.
They're not. Do you really think that's what he's going for there?
Yeah.
I believe that in a way, Duke is so boring. He's used to everybody in his life just shambling around. They seem normal to me. This is how people are, right?
Look, a whole bunch of white people, I think is what he's saying.
Oh, yeah,
There's no...
Guys, let me show you my vacation film.
But one of them isn't white. The chick isn't white. She's like Latina or something.
She's like an island girl. That's what I got out of it.
Just like I know what that other dude is now. He's Hawaiian.
I'll take Hawaiian.
Like in Moana.
Granted, that's also basically Native American.
He's like the Rock from Moana.
Yes, correct.
Right. I mean, I can't argue that point.
Yep.
If The Rock played He-Man it was in Moana, it would be that dude.
Oh, man. Will The Rock play He-Man someday?
I hope so.
He-Man's blonde.
Eventually.
I'm not changing on this point.
Okay, give him blonde hair like Demolition Man or Dennis Rodman.
Oh, yeah.
Now he's
that
in.
Dennis Rodman Demolition Man hair was cool.
It's legit. Chan?
What?
Vandermeer.
What?
He's a great scientist.
Uh-huh.
They capture him. Apparently, they shake him down for information and then tie him up 30 feet away in the woods.
With no gag.
They don't shake him down for information. Gina?
They picked my brain.
They picked his brain.
Gina loves having her brain picked. Hey, please feel free to PM Gina and ask her to pick her brain about anything.
What he means is like he's so bedraggled and disgusted because he got a bunch of Facebook messages from people being like, "Hey, I kind of want to be a scientist. Can I take you to coffee and pick your brain?" And then he's like, all these cobras, they kept buying me coffees and picked my brain, and I was too nice to turn them down. And now I have no time for my own projects, my own scientist projects.
And now they have a mass device, and I'm tied up in the woods.
Also, it turns out they didn't really just want to ask me questions. They really wanted me to do stuff for them.
Yeah.
Who knew? What? That's how it works?
Fun fact, if you become in any way successful in Hollywood, people will pretend like that they've been your friends for a real long time, and they'll say like, hey, basically they'll long way around. They'll say, can you get me a job?
Yeah.
Thank God.
And they call it, can I pick your brain? They'll take you to coffee.
Thank God I'll never have to worry about that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not going to reach that level of success, which is not a real high level of success, mind you.
No, you don't have to get that far.
No. But,
I feel like if we keep doing this podcast, eventually it'll start happening.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
That's not even success.
No, because they're like, hey, I want to pick his brain. No, wait a minute. I could just buy a microphone. That's all the information I'll get out of him.
Literally, that's all we can give to them.
Yeah.
Like, you buy a microphone and record stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay. So was it weird that Vandermeer was blood? Aren't we just so used to him being Zartan or literally anyone else?
Here's what I thought was weird, and I've brought this up in other episodes. They went through all the trouble of recreating this man's face for a disguise, and he wears it for 5 seconds.
Yes.
Like if I'm gonna buy a Halloween costume, I'm not gonna wear it to the Halloween party and then be like, oh, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get a beer and then come back and be in my street clothes.
Right.
Like that's not. I'm gonna show that crap off.
Cobra's doing a lot of weird things.
Damn it!
Wow, what's happening there? He's having trouble, kids.
He's giving birth to squid nose babies.
Why did I listen to you? You said drink ginger beer and it would be better.
It would make your tummy better and it'll make you burp.
It's so much worse.
No, it's better.
Well, I'll just say right here. So Cobra's plan was to apparently show up to Vandermeer. How long were they there before G.I. Joe showed up? Enough time to have built the mass device and then had the mass device have reaction to the mass device. So if I'm to believe it correctly, they either were there the whole time or they showed up again to tie him up. They impersonate Vandermeer purely to have a moment of gotcha, bitch.
I mean, I think it takes like 8 hours to make such an accurate mask of his face.
Were you not thinking that they were going to have Major Blood go off with G.I. Joe?
Yeah, that's what I was
that not
thinking.
the obvious plan
that's
right
why
there?
I'm saying, why did he wear it for 5 seconds and take it off? I feel like whoever that mask maker is like, come on, you guys. Like, I put so much detail into that. You're just going to, all right.
You think those things breathe? Do you know how hot and uncomfortable those things are? He was probably like, "Oh, this is gonna be fantastic. I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna embed myself deep. I'm gonna be under there for months, and then at the right moment, I'm gonna strike, and I'm gonna just take down G.I. Joe." He puts a mask on. I was like, "Fuck this."
He like had an itch.
I'm out.
He had an itch, and he was like, "This was the plan the whole time."
He was like digging under, like, the hell is he doing? Like, oh, whoops,
I mean,
nope.
literally, they could have put him in like a hoodie and turned him around, and the Joes would have been like, "Oh, is that the scientist? Let's get closer and see." Nope, it's not.
Nope. There's only one man who's allowed to have a hoodie. That man is Zartan.
Can I say right now, we finally found somebody who's worse at this gig than Zartan. This is why Zartan had to be a thing. It's because Blood kept fucking it up over and over again.
To be fair, that's not Blood's job. The Blood is a friggin' Cockney mercenary.
All right, that's fair
Also,
enough.
talk about limited vision. The dude already has an eye patch, and then you're gonna put a fucking mask over that. You would not be able to see at all.
He definitely forgot to take off the eye patch.
Yes.
He put the thing on. I was like, "Oh, this is going to be weird. They're going to look at my right eye and realize, like, hey man,
bulgy.
yeah, I got no eyeball."
That explains it. That explains why he gives up the game so quick. Also, why wouldn't they just capture Vandermeer or, I don't know, murder him? They're bad guys.
No, I feel like they keep scientists around in case something goes wrong, so they can be like, build us another Death Star.
Because
You've had months. You could have them at the Cobra base.
Science victory.
Science victory. Okay.
They're doing it the wrong way, though. Like if I captured a scientist, I would woo him. I would propagandize him until he was like, I would totally Stockholm syndrome him.
Find out what he wants and give it to him.
Yeah, like just be like, hey man, I could fund your research. So what if it's not being used for exactly what you thought it was going to be like? Don't you think that's how everyone will do it? The U.S. military will twist that shit. At least when I'm doing it, I'm honest about it. And then you'll be like, I like this person.
They do that eventually. I think as you get later on in the series, they're
well, you have the guy, Cobra's creature, who wants his girlfriend bailed out,
and wheelchair guy.
Wheelchair guy.
Like they were honest with wheelchair guy.
Okay, so we have a fight scene that takes place that's notable only for two things. One, Gung Ho's giant rapey hug that he does of 3 Cobra soldiers, where he runs up like a giant bear, hugs them, and then they just die, apparently. It's amazing.
The second thing better be piggies.
It's Chekhov's pig pen. Because as soon as the pig pen appears in the corner of the screen, I go, it's like a wrestling match that involves a pig pen with Hillbilly Jim or something to that effect. Somebody's going in the pig pen.
Did we
I was happy
watch
about piggies.
this episode for something earlier on in the season?
No.
Because I swear that I saw this fairly recently, and I don't know why I would have been.
Didn't you guys watch a test episode without me?
That was the
Golden
Travel Greek
Fleece episode where they go back to ancient Greece with Sergeant Slaughter.
Okay.
No, this was. I mean, you probably have seen this back in the day, and you're just having a remembrance of it.
No, I feel like it was much more recent than that.
Really.
Ray sneaks into your bedroom at night and turns on G.I. Joe.
Don't tell him.
And then before you wake up in the morning, he turns it off because he wants you to be more devoted to the podcast.
That makes sense.
It holds up under scrutiny.
That checks out.
Yeah, Chekhov's pig pen. Major Blood takes a tumble and rolls around with the pigs in a moment of hilarity and joy.
Also, there's a weird noise when they're in the pig pen. I don't remember what it was, but I wrote it down. Some sort of weird
noise.
Now I want to hear it.
It might be like a squish or a splat. Oh, what is that? Yeah, what is that magical noise?
I believe that's
background
just
music.
It's a
background
score
music?
thing.
Background
Well, let's
music
hear it again.
that
Let's
sounds
hear it
like
That thing?
the first one that sounds like
it's a
in
musical
He-Man when
sting.
Orko is like. It does it twice.
That's like what
Two
Jason. Well,
magic
you don't see this. Jason Voorhees actually shows up from Friday the 13th in the woods, looks at what's happening, goes, "I'm out."
No, it made it sound like something was magically appearing that was going to like take them away.
Yeah, the pig pen wasn't there ever.
No, that is a I don't know which a score theme or something like that. Like it's a Cobra.
It's a musical sting. I mean,
it's a Cobra thing when the Cobra's around.
Also, what accent does this doctor have?
Every scientist
It's literally like I was like, oh no.
They stole the secrets of mass. You were working on the mass device? Yes. And the only force powerful enough to counter it is another mass.
Started out as one thing and then went to British and then went to Irish.
Guys, I got it. South African. It's always fucked up
At
British
first,
that you
it's like
can't quite place.
I think it starts out German, then it goes British, then it goes Irish.
I think
the mass device.
I think Ray may be onto something. South African comes out weird to American ears because it's Dutch, which is real similar to like a few different.
I think they were trying to
accents.
make him British.
I think they were trying to make him...
The only force powerful enough to counter it is another mass device.
Yeah,
Mass device.
Powerful.
Yeah, but then mass device the second time was Irish.
I'm going to go.
But then also, what kind of accent does this chick have?
Okay, yes, because this one line of dialogue was to me like the showstopper of the episode. The slave girl's comment about Duke is so out of place and strange and just expositional and crazy. And can we just hear it really quick?
I must find a way to help him.
I must find a way to help him.
Creepy.
It sounded to me like, on a Family Guy, Mr. Superman.
Yeah.
That's
Like I was like, I guess she's Latina, but she also sounds like a.
Nope, that is a China doll brought to life. I must find a way to help him. I must end his life. I must end his suffering with a butcher knife.
A human soul to become alive.
It's just like it's so jarring and out of place, and everything else that's happening is to have this tiny voice out there. I must help him.
Also, I would like to point out that they have clearly done this before, and there have been probably dozens of men killed in this pit.
Yes,
but that she sees an attractive white man, and she's like,
changes everything.
I must save this one.
To be fair,
he's handsome.
I mean, that Duke, broad shoulders.
Oh, Duke's a hero. Come on.
I hope this causes problems with him and Scarlet later. Like, I hope this chick saves him, and then he has conflicting feelings for her, and then Scarlet's like, what the fuck? And he's like, no, she saved me from the pit, and it causes this whole thing.
Jen, I don't think you have to worry about that too much.
Damn it.
Do you remember her from any episode we've seen?
No, I'm just saying, like, in this 5-part miniseries, I want an arc. I want an arc. And then he's like, oh my God, I think I might love her instead of Scarlet. And then she's accidentally crushed by a boulder. And so he's like, I'll never tell Scarlet about this, but my heart will always belong to that come to life China doll.
Oh, Gina, that's so beautiful. And yet, one quick concussion is going to clear all that out of his brain.
One coma and we're done. So we get to the arena of sports, and because, again, it dates itself with technology.
Can we not call it a sports arena?
No.
Like, the Cobra sports arena would be pretty great. It seems like something that... I don't know why the Raiders aren't playing at the Cobra sports arena right now.
Why don't they actually, for real, the Raiders are moving to Las Vegas in a couple years. If they don't call it the Cobra Arena of Sport, they are missing an opportunity.
Why is the Hawaiian Goro guy a giant?
Because that's a thing that happens in the G.I. Joe world.
Is he just supposed to be a big person, or is he a magical creature?
He's a magical creature to me, Gina.
The second one.
Because like there's no other everything else in this is explained by science, so there's no real magic. So that when I saw him, I was like, oh, this is weird.
Okay.
It's like if all of a sudden in the middle of like what's like a serious movie in the middle of like, oh man, it's first serious movie.
Oh please.
all right.
Please
So it's like
Schindler's List.
It's like if all of a sudden in the middle of Schindler's List,
okay,
Goro comes out of one of the fucking showers.
I would have loved that so much.
And Ray finds his own like finish him.
Oh my goodness!
Then he picks up Liam Neeson and just like boom, 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 pounds on him with his two hands.
Guys, why didn't that be the real ending of Schindler's List?
I'm just saying everything's normal up until this point, and then
Is it normal up until this point, Gina? You're saying it's explainable, and yet the giant. Look, in Africa there are pygmy tribes of shorter people due to environment. Why can there not be reverse pygmy tribes of 9-foot tall dudes
also,
that Cobra can find around the world?
I am of the opinion that Destro used some sort of thing. Put him in some sort of
then I want that explained. I want them to be like, okay, this isn't like Goro and Schindler's List. This is a whole different thing. Like we took a somewhat taller than average guy and Captain America'd him or something.
I mean, here's the deal. I just hope that there's like a secret reveal at the end of this miniseries where he escapes and joins the NBA because this guy could be the most dominant center ever in the history.
I just literally go, what? How is that guy a giant?
Well, yeah. So Destro controlling Duke with an Atari 800 joystick doesn't bother you at all.
No.
But 9-foot tall guy is where you have the problem.
Because science again. Science.
Okay. So how about, and he comes in, so we have this is the end of the episode. We have the big fight scene about to happen. I assume that's how we're going to start episode 2 with Conan smashing 2 totally unnecessary pillars that have no purpose in the arena at all.
They're there to be smashed.
Yep. And I love Cobra for that level of panache. That's how you know you're in real Cobra territory.
Since this is the first episode, I feel like we should go back to the Bechdel test.
What are you doing?
Just watching Goro brutalities on YouTube, you guys.
Have you been able to work in putting Liam Neeson in there yet?
Yeah, just put a little Nazi armband on whoever he's killing, and then there you go.
Wait, I thought Liam Neeson was a good guy.
Sorry, in Gina's version,
yeah, we
that's
don't.
what
No,
happens.
we don't want him to kill Liam Neeson. We want him to kill Ray Fiennes.
I see. I see.
As Voldemort.
Yeah.
With the Nazi symbol.
I simply assume this is one of Gina's darkest timeline episodes where she's like, yeah, and at the end of Schindler's List, they murder Oscar Schindler.
I mean, here's the thing. It makes sense. In the end of Terminator, everyone who's associated with this Terminator is like, all right, I was the good guy, but I have also done bad stuff, so I've got to lower myself into the molten lava. I feel like Liam Neeson probably says the same thing at some point. Like, he's like, I was good for a while. Before that, I was like morally shady. So I'm going to lower myself into the molten lava pit.
Well, who could forget the time when Hitler got Goro technology? Really?
But wait, so we need to go back to the Bechdel test.
Yes.
Since this is the first episode and it sets the scene. Bechdel test fail.
Yeah, there's never two in the same scene together.
No.
Which is disappointing. Yeah, that's the end of the episode. We get a next step on G.I. Joe on the part that I saw. It basically shows you the entire next episode condensed into about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then Duke escapes. And then he gets in a tank. And then a slave girl helps him. And then Cobra Commander might get him, but he doesn't because he escapes again.
Ugh.
And I'm just like, oh, okay.
No one's going to listen to the podcast episode, Ray, now that they know what happened.
Sorry, guys. But guys, that'll do it. We got a little bit of contact information here. You can always hit us up at facebook.com/knowing is half the podcast. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/knowing is half the podcast. Just put an episode of Free Willy, the cartoon show, up on the super secret vault. There'll be Mortal Kombat added to that as well, but that's on the main feed right now. And we're about to do Batman, the animated series, Beware the Gray Ghost, which is also wonderful and going up on the Patreon. It'll be there probably by the time you hear this episode. So until then, you can hit us up on Twitter. We're at G.I. Joe Podcast. Individually, however, I am at Almighty Ray.
I'm at 999 RPMs.
I'm at Gina Ippy.
And that's going to do it for us this week. Tune back next week. We're going to come back to Know Your Joe on Wednesday, talking about maybe an important member of the G.I. Joe team, as well as episode 2. So look out for that, guys. Until then, keep your Conans huge.
It's a Native American, dude.
No, it's a half Goro, half Hawaiian.
Keep your Native American, half Goro, half Hawaiians huge.
What happened to Liam Neeson?
He got fatality.
Flawless victory.